We had Julius Peppers in here maybe about a month ago.
Yeah, about a month ago.
Which at the time I thought was just because Julius Peppers liked hanging out with us.
Yeah, it's probably true.
And just wanted to spend some time with two peers, essentially.
Yeah, obviously.
What I now know is he was in town to keep an eye on Beau Atkinson and some of his records.
Yeah, make sure he didn't lose those records.
Because as soon as Pep goes out of town, Beau Atkinson starts getting disturbingly close to some of those marks, which we'll talk about. Beau's with us today. Beau, thanks so much for coming by.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
What's a weekend off at this point in the season like?
This bye week, since we kind of had them like so close together, this one I just stayed here, and Connor and Will are my roommates. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But so we just hung out, rested, recovered, and yeah.
Do you watch other games like a fan?
So that's interesting. I'm not really the biggest fan of just watching. Like if I know people, I like to watch people that I know. But and I like college football to watch a lot more than NFL. But so I watched some of the games. Like I saw some of the Georgia Ole Miss and all that stuff, but not super fan.
Not just locked in on the couch all day.
No, not at all. I like that's the biggest thing is I like basically playing anything versus like watching.
Sure.
Like I don't really like watching stuff. I like to do stuff.
Look, watching is for those of us that can't do it. But Beau just goes out there and does it. It's a lot cooler to sack the quarterback than it is to watch somebody sack them. 17 sacks for the defense in the last 2 games. That's a crazy number. You guys had 15 the whole year before that.
Yeah.
What has prompted this explosion of getting into the backfield?
I think a big thing is we're playing together as like a whole team a lot more, which everything kind of goes hand in hand. Like when our offense is able to like do as well as they've been doing these past 2 weeks and get the score up, obviously the other team has to throw the ball a lot more, which gives us more opportunities. And then with our DBs playing very well too, gives us more time. So I think we've been doing a really good job of like not giving away the easy passes like may have happened in the past and giving us a little bit more time, and I think that's worked out really well for us.
What difference have you noticed that a healthy Kamen Rucker makes in terms of how teams are able to block you?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Just the fact that we do have so many threats, like having, like on our third down package, we'll have me, Dez, Kamen, and Javari all out there. So it makes it really hard on our O-line, especially with Kamen being as good as he is. It puts a lot of I think he was getting chipped a lot during the FSU game, and then that forces them to now have to leave one-on-one matchups for me and Dez or whoever throughout the whole time. So, yeah, it makes a big difference for sure.
All right, did you realize how many sacks you had against Florida State? Or was it just like, dude, I got one, let's go up next play? Or do you start realizing like, wow, I'm getting a bunch of these here?
I'm kind of the type to like just kind of keep moving forward and we'll celebrate after, but a lot of the guys were talking to me about it whenever we'd go. It was pretty cool. I don't know if y'all saw, we had like a little tent on the sideline because it was like hot. So our equipment team did a really good job with that. So it was kind of a cool vibe because you couldn't really see like the fans or anything. It was like right over you. It was cool, and yeah, it felt like a little huddle. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really I didn't want to let it get to me because sometimes what can happen is like once you start getting like numbers up, like you'll kind of get satisfied and be like, oh, okay, like I'm kind of done for the game. Like I don't really need to. When really you can get a lot more. So yeah, I don't know. I think it was the first drive I had like 1.5 or something.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So, I mean, like the second most in a game in Carolina history. Like the only one who had more was Julius Peppers. Like you don't seem like somebody who would get too excited about that, but that seems pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I didn't even know that, honestly, until after the game, and that was pretty cool. Would have been nice to get one more, but yeah, that was pretty cool. Hopefully, I'll have some more opportunities to do that soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
You have taken some heat for your celebrations not being fancy enough.
Yeah.
Did you use the bye week to refine any?
No, I mean, especially like I'm sure y'all saw the video that they put out with like the whole
Beau flex.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I think honestly at this point I gotta like stick to it now. Like now that I've like there's a name for it. So
yeah.
But honestly, it's pretty because like I've basically like since you could ask like my parents like since I was in like middle school I've never like been like super like I just get really excited and I just like start like flexing after like since I've been like 11 years old I've always done that, and yeah there's like a ton of high school pictures of me doing it, and yeah that's just what I've always done, so it's pretty funny.
I think a big positive for that celebration is like normal people in the stands can do it.
Yeah.
which is not
That's
the case
true.
with some
Yeah,
celebrations.
yeah.
Like even I could do the Beau flex.
Yeah,
It won't look
yeah.
as cool
Would
as
you
what
like to do it right now?
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
But I like the way he does it. Like he doesn't stand over the quarterback. He's just celebrating. Like, dude, he just
Yeah.
sacked the quarterback. It's time to Beau flex.
Yeah. Have you heard from either Bowflex or Bojangles, our friend here on the Carolina Inside?
I have not. I mean, I guess I haven't done a great job of reaching out, but yeah, I probably should.
Yeah, let's go. What
They
is
should
it?
call you. You don't need
Yeah.
to reach
Yeah,
out to
Yeah.
this
them.
feels like an
Yeah.
obvious it's Beau time. Like,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this
Yeah.
feels obvious.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. It makes a
If
lot
I
of
can't
sense.
buy the Beau meal at Keenan Stadium by Saturday at 8 p.m.
Do you like the Beau Atkinson? It's kind of hard to.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I like it. I like
Okay.
it.
We're down
That's
with
actually
that.
interesting because Cayman actually was the one who made that up last year. Like our first game last year,
Yeah.
we played South Carolina,
Yep.
and I had like 2 or 1.5 or something like that. And so Cayman was calling me that last year too. So it was pretty interesting to see like the origins of that. Too.
Yeah, it just needed a
got
little
a lot-
momentum.
A lot
Yeah,
of opportunities
yeah,
here.
Exactly.
No doubt.
Exactly.
Okay, you've legally agreed to give us 10% of anything we just talked about.
Good to go. Were you impressed, jealous, or something else with Jahvaree Ritzy's pick 6 against Virginia?
Oh no, that's that. I mean, I'm sure y'all saw the clip too. Like that was all him. Like it was literally like a shallow pass. Like it wasn't even like a screen or something. It was shallow. He like tipped it up, caught it, and then Heisman, the quarterback, while holding the ball like a loaf of bread in the other hand, and like I don't know. He's a freak for sure. So I mean, that was just straight impressed there. I don't know. I haven't had an interception here, and I don't know if I had any in high school either. So
Really?
yeah, that was pretty sick to see him doing that and then like running down the field next because I was on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there
Pretty
any
awesome.
moments where you wondered if he was going to run out of gas?
Honestly, no. Just because doing like the workouts the whole summer with him. Like he's a 3 tech, but like he's not really because like he's just so free. Like he's big enough to do it, but he's also so athletic for
Yeah.
his size that he's a freak for sure. So that was
All
pretty
right.
cool.
Tell us a little bit about growing up, Beau, young Beau. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Growing up, I started playing football when I was like 7 or so. My dad played college football at UConn, and my mom played college volleyball at UConn. So they were both there, and so I always was around athletics pretty much my whole life. We were like super competitive. Like anytime we'd get in trouble, we'd be doing like push-ups and that stuff. Or I remember when I was like 5 years old, like we'd have a game where like my dad would sit on the couch and we'd like go back, basically doing like one-on-one, like playing receiver and DB versus. I have 2 brothers and a sister, so very competitive household. Started playing football when I was like 7 or whatever. Mostly because my dad had played football, and then my older brother. I don't know. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with the like the Pop Warner Super Bowl stuff, where you go to Orlando. So my older brother had done that a couple times. So after that, I was like, okay, I definitely want to start playing football. Started playing. My dad was my coach, and then we ended up doing the same thing. We went to Super Bowl twice in 7th and 8th grade, and then from there is history. High school football.
Where do you fall in the siblings?
So I have one older brother, me, younger brother, younger sister.
What's the game most likely to cause a fight if y'all are all playing?
Oh, definitely basketball. My little brother was a very big, he was quite the referee during some of that stuff, and he'd always get mad and like call penalties, and yeah, definitely, I don't know. We played a lot of basketball. We had like our neighbor had like a football. It was just like their front yard was like kind of like curved. So we'd like play football on that every time, and like you could throw the football over the house for like the deep balls, and
Nice.
it was cool. But yeah, no, we were always outside growing up the whole time.
Would you beat your little brother up?
So it was kind of a thing where like he'd start reffing, like, and it would get me really mad, and then like I'd like chase up to him, and then he'd like kind of like be like, what's that animal that like plays dead?
Oh, a possum?
Yeah, he'd be like a possum. He'd just lay down on the ground, and then I'd kind of like get over him, but like I would never actually do anything because like I don't know, I didn't want to like actually hurt him and like have him go tell my mom or something.
I mean, I
But,
didn't mind about
yeah.
hurting him. I just didn't want him to tell mom.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so there was a lot of that going on. I'm sure he could tell you more, but yeah,
You were academic all ACC last year,
yeah,
and you're in the business school.
yep.
Both those things are no joke. How do you manage your time to do all these things successfully?
It's a good question. I don't really know. You just kind of, I feel like if you care about something, you can make time. I'm not sure. I've always been like a very big math person my whole life, and luckily for the business school here, that was like the big criteria is like you do the calculus and the stats and the econ, so that was kind of right up my alley.
That's past my alley.
And then also having like good friends to be around, like I'm sure y'all know Will Hardy and Connor are both in the business school with me too, so like we kind of been on the same track our whole career, which has been pretty cool and been nice to have like other people around you to help you get better and stuff. So yeah,
that sounds like a very intelligent household you guys have.
Yeah.
You guys just like Friday night or Saturday night after the game, everybody's like out, and you're like, guys, look, we got some econ we need to do.
We're going to go home and celebrate like normal with calculus.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess. Yeah.
What do you like to do outside of football?
Outside, I've gotten into fishing a lot more, which has been cool. My girlfriend has a beach house, or like they live they're from Morehead City, and so I went fishing with her dad and stuff, and it was really fun. I don't know. I like to do very spontaneous things all the time. I'm sure I can talk to y'all more about that later, but I don't know.
I'm gonna talk about it here.
I don't know.
Se.
Yeah, I don't know. Me, Connor, will do a lot of interesting, fun things. I don't know. We played a lot of pickleball and that kind of stuff. I don't know. We did like a whole scavenger hunt one time. It was funny. I don't know. Did a lot of stuff like that. But yeah.
Fishing with the girlfriend's dad can be some pressure because like you want to do well, but not too well.
Yeah.
How did you handle that?
It was kind of, he was legit. Legit. He's lived there his whole life. I was not legit. I caught like maybe 2 fish the whole time, but it was fun. It was sometimes like the great thing about fishing is kind of like more of like just being out there, and like the peaceful vibe was almost better than actually catching sometimes. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
You set up a scavenger hunt? Like,
Well, actually, Connor and Will set it up, and then he just like randomly so like me and Connor were roommates. Will was not at the time, and they just like randomly like put a note card outside my door, and then me and Cade Law, if y'all know him, and they just did a whole spontaneous scavenger hunt, and yeah, it was fun. It was very cool.
Take all day, like
it was at like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. and we finished at like 10 p.m. But yeah, there was some
evening activity.
Yeah, it was fun though. It was very, very creative by Connor and Will. But yeah, it was good.
So there's been a lot that has happened with this team this year, both on the field and off the field.
Yeah.
How have you guys tried to manage all of that? I mean, it's a lot to happen to people. How have you guys tried to manage that, maybe individually and together?
Yeah, I think it's definitely everybody handles it a lot different. I mean, just a lot of different things, especially like obviously all the stuff with Tylee can be very tough. For me, I just try to keep focused on my goals and trying to individually work to get better, like, and focus even more on football and in school and stuff. And I don't know, for other people, I think that's kind of like the mindset of the whole team is just we want to move forward in the right way. And I think that bye week was very important for us to kind of like take a time out, reset mentally, and lock back in. And I think that showed pretty well these past 2 weeks.
You're talking about that first bye week.
Yeah, the first bye week.
What's the best advice you got during that time?
I think kind of just that, like just focus on what's important and like not let the outside noise affect you too much, and almost like just shut your ears off to the outside noise and just focus on the next thing ahead of you. And Coach Monachina talked a lot about like, you know how you have like the high beams on your cars, and like just turn the high beams off, just focus on what's in front of you right there. And yeah, I think that was pretty good advice.
He seems like a really good coach to me. Have you enjoyed working with him?
No, he's awesome. He's awesome. Yeah.
What has that relationship been like? What has been beneficial for you?
What's been beneficial? He's just the amount of knowledge he has is pretty insane. Obviously, he was in the NFL for a long time and coached some pretty dang good players. But just like being able to watch film with him and be able to look at different tells, or he does a big like run cut up every week for what the team's main runs are. Obviously, like this week we were playing like Wake Forest, and they do like the big mesh stuff.
Yep.
And so, I don't know, just like little details that a lot of people don't tend to see that we can look closer at. Yeah, he helps a lot with that.
Coach Brown has talked a lot about, and this has been a heavy topic for a lot of the year, particularly with the defensive line, about rotating you guys in more so that the amount of snaps that everybody plays isn't as high at the end of the year. So maybe instead of playing 70 plays early in the season, somebody was playing 40 or whatever. Do you think that's been beneficial? Like, can you tell a difference? Do you think your teammates and your fellow defensive linemen can tell a difference?
I mean, there's definitely a big difference. I think last year I was averaging like 15 snaps, if that, a game. And then now these past few weeks I've been getting like 30 something. So for me, I mean, I can't speak to the fact of like playing too much and then like your body hurting, because that wasn't the case for me last year. But I'm sure that like guys like Kamen and Dez probably feel that a lot more. So being able to stay fresh is a big thing, because like, I don't know, like say like you're playing the game for 60 plays and like they're like throwing the ball and you can't even put your best stuff on film really because you're tired and you're gassed. That doesn't really work well for anybody. Like so like playing more plays does not necessarily equal more production, I would say.
Defending that slow mesh feels like it would be tough.
Yeah.
What's one or two things I can look for when I'm watching on Saturday that'll help me try to be able to figure out what they're doing?
The biggest thing Coach Collins has talked about is just like penetrating. Like if you just sit on the block and just let them do their thing, it's going to put a big bind on the guys in the back end, and because like they have to play the run and the pass that whole time. So for us, just being able to penetrate, and we have some really big, strong defensive tackles, so the quarterback will like step up really far when they're riding that mesh. So for them to be able to get through the line and get in the quarterback's face, and again, like with him stepping up, like getting your hands up was a big thing too. But for us on the edges, just getting off the ball and trying to get to him as fast as we can, that's a big thing. Putting the pressure on them versus letting them dictate us. That's probably the biggest thing, I'd say.
All right, 3 weeks left in the regular season.
Yep.
It just feels like a different team. I don't know how else to say it. Like what in your mind is kind of the mindset of these last couple of weeks, and what do you think will be important for you guys to continue to play well?
Yeah, mindset wise, I don't know. I think we're just starting to focus on like the little things even more, and just completely buying into that. And then I don't know. Everybody is since summer workouts, we've always talked about like we break everything down on champions, and like we want to be the best team that we can be. And I think now we're kind of like getting towards that point, and just finishing this year like going 3-0 in these last 3 weeks. I don't know. I feel like that's very important to everybody, and everybody's pretty bought into that.